We just bought this 1971 Mustang Mach 1, and our first attempt is to fix the turn signals, which were not working, but all the hazards worked, so we know the bulbs were good. Step 1, remove the steering wheel. You may need a steering wheel remove tool like the one you just saw. Inspect the old turn signal apparatus. We ended up replacing immediately, assuming this was the issue. Turns out it wasn't, and we could have fixed without replacing. Note, this one is already a replacement, so previous owner must have attempted this fix already. We bought the replacement parts from CJ Pony Parts, and I was convinced that this CJ apparatus was assembled wrong, causing the front right turn signal to not operate. But now I think it's more likely either we or the previous owner crossed wires between the right front turn signal and the power coming from the hazard flasher. In any case, if you need to replace this turn signal apparatus, unclip and rewire by coupling together all the same color wires. They may not line up exactly, just do, the closest match. My next issue is that the flasher is not getting power even when the car was running. So to remedy this, I cut this wire. This is where the power should come in while the car is powered on and into this turn signal flasher clip. By splicing into this wire, after the breaker, this is the same power wire that the hazard flasher, and likely some other stuff too, is also wired to. Now the turn signal flasher has power all the time, resulting in my turn signals working even with the car off. Here's what I have figured out, is that it used to be just this wire right here that would operate the front right, and that wasn't working. And so that is the white with red stripe wire. Okay. And then white with red stripe. Okay. So the white with red stripe wire is here. And that was what was operating the front right. But it would never turn on. When you turn the turn signal, like this wire right here is always hot. And so I can demonstrate that by showing you how, if I just take this here and touch to this guy. Okay, so that one is hot. Now, this one is not. I haven't. Okay. Now, if I touch, when I turn right, if I touch this to this, now I get the front right is blinking and the back right is also blinking. And here's how I did it. So I noted that on the back of this, note this is the upper inside pin right here that operates that was operating the rear right turn signal. And so rear right turn signal, so rear right is the upper inside pin. Upper inside pin is this orange with a white stripe, orange white stripe, or maybe that's a light blue, I'm not sure. Orange with a light blue stripe or white stripe wire. Okay. So since that worked, what I did was, since I could not get that right front blinker to work correctly, is I took the white with the red stripe wire and cut it. And now here's the orange with the white stripe wire coming down. This operates the right rear normally. And so on the other side, I have it going to still the right rear, but now also the right front. So that way, anytime the right rear gets power, so does the right front. And that was my solution to this problem. Now, this isn't like super ideal because it could be that this wire, like why is that not just the way it worked in the first place. Like, why would you want the rear right going but not the front right? Like, I don't know why, you know, there's a single wire for each of the 4 turn signals has its own wire. That might be because each wire is only, you know, the amount of amperage that is drawn by 2 bulbs is more than this wire is rated for. And so that's why this is not like a super ideal situation, but I'd be willing to bet we can operate both of these lamps off of this single wire without like a problem. Like the only issue could be that like these wires down here could get, you know, get hot, you know. So I don't think that would really ever be a problem unless you left it on for a really long time, that they would like heat up. So we'll just not leave the turn signals on for, you know, an obnoxious amount of time. Right turn signal, rear right, front right, both working. Left turn signal, left front and left rear, both working. And hazards, all 4 are working. So I was wrong before. I thought I messed up the hazards. Did not mess up the hazards. Okay. The only difference now is that if I was to jumper the, you know, one of the power wires to this one that used to be the front right, nothing will happen because that wire goes nowhere now. But if I jumper to anything that powers the right rear, for example, this one, now anything that powers the right rear now also powers the right front. So, yay, problem solved. You know, turn on the right turn signal, and now the power that is going down to the right rear line going down the shaft now splits into 2. So anytime the right rear turns on, so does the front right. Problem solved. Again, if you want to see how, you know, this little doohickey works, we can plug this on to the ground up here, which is the part of the horn, and then we can test these different wires to see which ones, you know, have power. So this one is the horn here, and so anytime horn to horn, you know, happens, the horn will honk. Yay. And then down here we can see on the hazard switch, I don't know if you can see all of these, but the lower left has power from the turn signal, and the upper left also has power from the turn signal. The upper middle has power from the hazard flasher, and then the other 3 do not. Although the bottom right actually has 2 wires coming out of it right here. 1, 2. One of them goes up to this guy, and that's for when you turn the hazards on. It's able to, you know, connect this to the right rear. This also will, if you jumper, will power the right rear, which will also now power the right front. So anyway, problem solved. I'm pretty sure that this doohickey here that I bought aftermarket is malfunctioning. Like, this thing is not wired correctly. There's a couple issues, like, for example, when I turn on the right turn signal, both flashers are going. But when I turn on the left turn signal, only the turn signal flasher is going. So why does it do that? Why is the, you know, turn signal, the right turn signal flasher activates both? It's like operating off of both. It has power coming in. This is not wired exactly right, and that's also why this one right here was probably supposed to be wired to one of the bulbs over here, and it got switched on the back with the wire that's it's spliced. The two wires that are coming in that are supposed to be, this wire is supposed to be by itself, input from the flasher, and then this wire is supposed to be split between going to the front right and this one over here, but it doesn't. It's wired wrong. Somebody put this together incorrectly, and I've had to make some, crazy jerry rig modifications here, like this, to make the both right blinkers work.